All right, Sarah, we ready to go? Okay, today is December 18th, 2024, and we will call the Berkeley Unified School District Personnel Commission regular meeting to order. Madam Secretary, could you please call the roll and establish the quorum?
Sure. Chairperson Roeder,
Here.
Commissioner Alpert.
Present.
Commissioner Goldstein.
Present.
Okay, quorum being present, we will next move to public comments. I don't see a lot of people online. Frank, did you have a public comment? Shaking his head. So we will close the public comment period. I don't think this is going to be a problem today, but as far as the approval and adoption of the agenda, we do need to be out of here at 4 o'clock, the timely period, because there is a school board meeting that's going to be happening here, and they usually have a closed session, I think, around 5 or so. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve and adopt the agenda if there aren't any changes?
I actually have a question about the agenda. I see we move from item 8, conference items, to item 10, election of, next year's chairperson. And then when I look at the conference items, I see that they're identified as items 9. And one looks like it's an advisory and one looks like it needs an action. So I think we need to just rearrange those a little bit.
So let's see what you're referring to. So you're referring on our agenda. Oh, I see. So why Gibson's request is listed as 9A.
And the following one
Oh,
for the communications officer job description, which I think we will act on, is right now called 8B. So
we're actually missing an agenda item 9 on the agenda.
Correct.
Okay, gosh, how do we fix that? Let's just shall we call
Well, we have
the
discussion.
conference items as 9, because that's
Right.
what they are in our packet. And then we will just indicate that there is no item 8.
Well, the problem is in the agenda, we've got a 9A and an 8B.
So an 8B.
We just, when I look at it, I think we've got conference items, and I think 8A, which is that there is a request for a reclassification for Gibson, is appropriate there.
Well, should we just call that 8A?
We could call that 8A and then 8B, because for discussion items, we can take action on both, right?
For conference items, yes.
Right, okay. So
So
We can-
we'll just, in the packet, we will relabel the Gibson matter, to get to it again, the Gibson matter as 8A
I'm fine.
in the
Okay,
packet.
yeah.
Okay, so in the packet, it'll be 8A. On the agenda, it is correct. And the senior communications officer, is that already 8B?
That's 8B
That's 8B.
in the text, and it's 8B on the agenda.
Okay, and then we'll just indicate for the minutes that there is no agenda item 9.
Well, there is, it's the election of chair.
Well, do you want to change everything?
Yeah, it just right.
Okay, so item 10 will be item 9.
Right.
Item 11 will be item 10, 12 will be 11, 13 will be 12, 14 will be 13, and 15 will be 14. And that takes care of it?
I think so.
Okay,
We're good.
fantastic. Okay, Sarah, are you looking quizzical?
Has a problem in the packet that the item 9A is mislabeled, but I don't see the issue on the agenda itself. As it seems, it was posted incorrectly, but this, what you have in front of you should be correct.
Yeah, there's a discrepancy between the digital and the printed. So the printed is correct. It goes 8, 9, 10. The digital goes 8, 10. But it's just numbers. I don't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm looking, I printed mine out.
Yeah, I printed the digital,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right.
It's just numbering though.
Okay, it's just renumbering. We just renumbered.
No,
Okay,
Just so you have the correct version.
no worries.
no worries. All right, so in the printed version, let's just check something.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So now, yes.
All right, so all we're doing also in the printed version is then calling the item for Gibson. It shows as item 9A. And we want it to be item 8A in the printed packet.
Correct.
And the other one I think is correctly labeled 8B. Let me get there. Correctly labeled 8B, right?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, excuse me, thank you, Commissioner Goldstein, for that clarification. That was helpful. So now with the clarification and the changes that we discussed, can we have a motion to approve and adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved.
I second.
Seconded. I agree. The agenda as modified is approved and adopted. So now we have the meeting minutes. Item 5A is the meeting minutes of November 22nd. I think that's the one I did have a very minor change to. Do either of the commissioners have any
Mhm.
changes?
No.
My change is in item 6D, which is the Personnel Executive Director's Report. Let's see, it's, I guess it's one long sentence. Well, it's one long sentence. After the indication about the classification and compensation study, it says, quote, announced the commissioners would attend the annual CSPCA conference to be held March 16th through 18th, 2025, also in Napa. I think that the word would should be could, because I don't think, I know I'm not going to be attending that conference because I just attended one. So I think
Mhm.
the executive director was just announcing the conference was happening and we could all attend if we wanted to. Okay. Right.
I'm fine.
So I don't have anything else to those minutes. All right.
Me neither.
Then I will move with that change to the executive director's report that the meeting minutes of November 22nd, 2024 be approved as corrected.
I'll second.
Move seconded,
Mhm.
and Commissioner Alpert nods his head in
Yes.
agreement.
Mhm.
For the record.
All right, so those are approved, and then we have our special meeting of December 12th, 2024. I, for one, did not have any changes to that.
Me
and
neither.
I'll
No
move.
one else does. Is there a motion?
I'll move the
I'll
minutes.
second.
Moved and seconded to approve the meeting minutes of December 12th, 2024, and I agree. So they are approved unanimously with no changes. All right, now we have item 6, which is the reports, and we will start with union reports, if there are any. And I see, although Frank is in attendance, Mr. Hernandez, BCCE president, is in attendance. He's shaking his head, no report for this meeting. Okay, and I don't, well, let's see. I don't think I see anyone
Short meeting.
from the district. And now commissioners' reports. Commissioner Goldstein?
Okay, there's nobody from the district. Is that what we decided?
No, I don't see anybody
Okay.
from the district.
Okay, sure. Okay, great. Mine is just very brief. I just want to note, and I'm sure we'll hear this in the secretary's report. November was just off the charts in terms of testing, both testing for, a particular position, which I'm interested in hearing about, as well as just the throughput, the daily work. November is a short month. There are only 17 work days. And by my calculations, there were an average of 22 tests per workday, which just knocks my socks off, considering there were 4 of you, putting this through. So thank you. Let's see, also just, per the 12-4 board meeting, the local 21 tentative agreement has been ratified. So now we are ratified with our labor partners. I think the membership of 21 needs to ratify. BFT has ratified. So, congratulations, to all our labor partners that we have something in place for 24-25.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Has BCCE's bargaining agreement been
Members
Approved.
ratified, that's what it said.
BCCE?
Forgive me. Okay, all right. So
That's
we're
what I
still
thought.
still waiting on BCCE. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you, Frank. for that
appreciate the clarification. Okay. Let's see, I will have office hours in January at Highwire on the 9th. That's the second Thursday, starting at 7:30 a.m. for anyone who's interested. And other than that, just want to thank everybody for hanging in this year and wish everybody a peaceful and restful holiday.
Commissioner Alpert.
Nothing other than happy holidays.
Yes, and I agree with Commissioner Goldstein regarding the testing and examinations this past month. They were quite extraordinary. And me too. I wish everyone a happy holiday, a restful holiday. And it's been quite a year, and next year also will probably be quite a year. So we all need to get ready. Okay, and now the executive director's report.
So good afternoon, commissioners, staff, and members of the public. Thank you for being here today. I wanted to start off by turning our attention to the personnel activity report for November that Heidi already touched on, but as we see here, we administered a total of 373 exams, 64 training, including 64 training and experience assessments, 278 written exams, 15 oral exams, and 16 performance exams. And then, yes, there were 17 work days. It was a very short month, but we averaged, like Heidi said, 22 exams per day. And then also as reflected in the agenda, we successfully generated 5 eligibility lists, and we welcomed 5 new hires, 1 rehire, and 3 promotions. Then an update on the class and comp study. I've checked in with Assistant Superintendent Samantha Tobias Espinoza, and she informed me that the board was unable to discuss the study at their last meeting on November 20th. However, it will be revisited in a closed session at the board meeting scheduled for this evening, so tonight. Also, at our last meeting, we considered an agenda item submitted by the library media specialist requesting a reclassification. The commission, you all have authorized me to engage in the reclass process, and I've since met with their supervisor, Jessica Lee. And I'm scheduling a meeting with some of the incumbents in the class. I've also gathered documents, including the materials that they submitted to EH&A, and also the salary study portion of the report. So to help me further conduct my investigation, and I look forward to continuing to update you on the meetings to come about this. And then also in other relevant news, Governor Newsom recently signed Senate Bill SB 1100 into law, which will make it an unlawful employment practice to include statements requiring a driver's license in job postings, unless specific conditions are met, which are that driving must be one of the job functions of the position. So this law will take effect on January 1st of 2025. So in compliance with the law, the Personnel Commission will revise existing job descriptions as we post them, removing any language requiring a driver's license for positions where driving is not an essential function of the job. And then lastly, as we approach the winter recess, I'd like to acknowledge the hard work of our staff and emphasize the importance of taking time to recharge. So I wish everyone a happy and restful break. That's
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, Executive Director. I do have a question, but Heidi, please go ahead.
No, you go ahead. We probably have the same question.
Oh, maybe. My question, Aaron, has to do with that Administrative Assistant 3 position. And I noticed, actually I have two questions, but one question on that one is, I noticed it looks like there were no written exams given for that position, and I was curious, is that perhaps because these applicants were promotional applicants, or is there some other reason?
Yeah, I believe that the written exam was administered last month. So it was in last month's personnel report.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
it was not done in November. It was done in October.
Okay. That does explain it. It's a little confusing, I guess, when the exams overlap on 2 different months.
Right.
But, okay, but I understand. And since we're kind of speeding through the agenda, I'll ask a question that I think I've asked before, and I really don't understand what is a training and experience? And is it accurate to call it an exam? What is the training and experience portion of the exam? And how does that differ from just the review of minimum qualifications to determine whether the person is, able to apply for the job in the first place?
Right. So the training and experience assessment is it's used in lieu of an exam, but it could be considered as a type of exam, and certain districts do that. And so basically it's a very thorough screening where we have like a rubric and we name out all of the minimum qualifications of the position, and we do a very kind of intense screening that we feel like is considered or can be a type of assessment to move those candidates forward. I mean, we are always still screening candidates, but we've used this in lieu of a normal exam so that we can speed up the testing process or streamline it in some way, and it's still a valid type of assessment.
Are you saying that it might be in lieu of a written exam, for example, or an oral exam?
Yes,
It might be in lieu of those.
yes.
And is it ranked or is
It's
it?
pass fail.
It's pass fail. That's what I thought. Okay, thank you for explaining it a little bit more thoroughly.
And candidates are always notified when they've gone through a training and assessment, and they're given the same appeal rights like they would for all the other assessments.
I see. Okay, thank you. Those are my questions, Commissioner Goldstein.
All right, thank you. Then I do have one other. And that is, can you give us a flavor of how it is that we had 158 written exams for the Administrative Assistant 1 position?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what type of I'm not sure if there was some type of algorithm that really made this, posting pop up in so many different sites and how we were able to attract so many candidates. But we had probably, I don't know the number at the top of my head, but usually when that many people screen in, we have maybe double the amount of applications. And so that was just one of those recruitments where we were alarmed and surprised to see how many applications we received. And the minimum qualifications for that position aren't very stringent. So based on those, that's how many people screened in and later took the written.
And do you happen to know the split of external versus internal
For admin 1?
for this particular?
I don't believe that there were too many internal. I mean, I would probably say I don't look at the names while we're going through the
I
process.
realize.
Yeah, but I think we're close to finalizing, and I don't think that there were, unless you know, Brian, at top of your head, how many internals, like 5, maybe? Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, so less than 10%.
Yeah.
Second phase was
Yeah.
yesterday, and we. A lot of people through.
And we've been noticing those trends really with some of these clerical positions where we're getting so many applicants and we don't really know how or why.
So this would be one, the reason I'm asking is to keep it on the radar. Something like this is so out of the norm.
Right.
I smell AI, but I don't quite know
Mm.
how,
Mm.
right? So, I don't know if there are forums where we can kind of ask, are others experiencing this?
Yeah.
But I think it would be a good idea to
Yeah.
check this.
And
Because I don't know what would have generated the,
right.
I mean, I
yeah.
wish we got this for
And
bus drivers. Can you
exactly.
figure it out for bus drivers and
It's
nutritional services?
typically in the last, 6 months to year, and we've noticed these trends, they've usually been strictly clerical positions.
Mm.
And so I'm not sure if,
I've never seen a number like this, though.
no, this one was
Yeah.
this one topped it, but we had something similar with student admissions recently, which is not a general clerical position either,
Right.
there's,
Is something in the
Um,
hundreds of
I think it was
applicants?
over 100 applicants for student admissions.
Administrative assistant too.
Mhm,
Mhm.
Current posting.
yeah.
Be open. They have a current posting administrative.
It's best.
Here we are.
You know what, we're
Um,
picking it up, though.
We have a current posting administrative assistant too. I just checked it. It'll be open until January 2nd. We have 94 applications already.
Yeah, there's an AI thing going on here.
So there's a trend.
Yeah.
Aaron's
But
correct.
I don't know what, all right, maybe we can find out more.
We do
more
have
about
a
this.
listserv that's run through the CSPCA where, directors can, or staff can ask questions and then we'll kind of get some input from other directors or other PC
Yeah.
staff to kind of just see if there's something to this.
Okay, all right, more to come then on that.
All right, anything else, Aaron? No, okay. Then we'll move on to consent items, number 7, 7A through E, eligibility lists. I'll just say, I think these lists are very, very impressive. Almost all of them have many, many ranks. And even the first one, the cook, 6 ranks for a cook is, nutritional services has always been a tough area to try to obtain applicants. And so this is really nice. Any other comments or questions on this?
I'll only add that, as you know, I try to look at the average for testing intervals,
Good.
first to second, 8 days on average, on top of throughput of 22 exams per day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that clearly still we need to work, which is a skilled and difficult position to fill, is the vehicle and
Mhm.
equipment mechanic. And there's a lot of competition out in the private sector and elsewhere for a skilled vehicle and equipment mechanic. So I'm glad at least we have 2 ranks.
That's right.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
And
Been
I'll
moved.
second.
Moved and seconded, and I agree. So the consent eligibility lists A through E of item 7 are approved unanimously. Now we move on to our conference items, which is item 8, right? Yeah. And so item 8A is a request for reclassification for Y Gibson. Aaron, Executive Director, could you present that, please?
Sure. So I brought this item forward because I received documentation from Miss Yolanda Gibson indicating that she had previously requested a reclassification and she said that it was denied during the class and comp study. So I believe it had to do with the informal moratorium that was implemented to ensure that all employees would participate in the study. So similar to the approach that we're taking with the library media specialist, I recommend that we proceed with the reclassification process. And then I also would thoroughly review the documents submitted by Ms. Gibson and also revisit the materials that she provided to EHA during the class and comp study and probably also participate in a desk audit.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Alpert?
Thank you for that. Do we have a list or did we maintain records of people who did request reclassification during the moratorium? Or is there any kind of process for that?
Unfortunately, we don't have a list as far as I'm aware, because they all went directly to our former director Castillo. As far as I'm aware, it was the library media specialist and Miss Gibson. I don't know
Okay.
about anybody else. I can double check with Sarah. We did try to kind of have a handoff with Mr. Castillo and any pending items were discussed, but none of this came up.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that people aren't falling through the cracks if they put those in and were requested. I know, for our partners, union partners out there, now that the moratorium is over, folks should be made aware of that. We should make them aware of that, and also the union can help with that. So that
Right.
folks know they can, if they did or didn't come to us because of, they knew about the moratorium, that now it's been lifted.
Yeah, and I have discussed it with some employees and they have mentioned, wanting to reclass and we always let them know what they need to do in order to do that. But as far as like a formal request, I don't know of any others.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? Yes, Commissioner Goldstein.
I do have a couple of questions. So I noticed the request is for a reclass to the administrative assistant 2 and not the administrative assistant 1. And in the job hierarchies, I'm just sort of wondering why the skip. Do we know yet, or we haven't looked at it close enough to understand?
So I just received these about a week ago, but I do believe that this employee may be requesting an admin assistant to reclass because when this employee last participated in a comp and class study, their position was essentially demoted. So this employee was in a higher salary range at some point before that last class study.
The
And
Ewing?
The Ewing,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
And so then those few employees that were kind of downgraded in salary were benchmarked, or they were Y rated, sorry. And so they kept their former salary range. And so from what I can see, I think this employee is already at even though they're in a clerical assistant 3 position, they're at the admin assistant 1 salary range.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's more to it, though the employee has mentioned that their job has significantly changed due to the lack of leadership in that department. And so that's definitely another factor.
Okay, so, a desk audit will certainly help
Right.
us understand that. I saw that in the packet, the EHA questionnaire was in there. It looked blank, but it also looked like it had a signature date and time. And I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Is this someone who participated in the class and comp study?
Yeah, so I do believe these are all the attachments that we received from the employee. I do believe that they participated, but they might not have fully filled out all of the forms. So I've been in communication with the employee to get me more information on, but I do think some of the forms were not fully filled out, the EHA forms.
Okay,
So,
okay, thank you. And through this, what you are doing is basically just letting us know this is queued up for
right.
future work, right? Okay.
So I guess I have two questions, both of them sort of follow-ups from what Commissioner Goldstein asked. So maybe the second one first, which is, do we need, this is listed as a conference item. Should we be making a motion to formally refer the matter to you for an evaluation of the reclassification? I think we should.
Yeah, I believe we did that last month with the
Yes.
library media specialist. I think we should just probably follow the
Okay,
same
so we'll,
process.
so that'll be the procedure if that's what we decide to do. The second question is, again, following up on what Commissioner Goldstein said about the administrative one position.
Mhm.
Would I be correct if you were to determine, and this is a big if, so nothing is predetermined, but if you were to determine that this position should be reclassed to an admin one, but not to an admin two, even though the employee has asked for an admin two, would you notify us of that, and that would become your recommendation if that were to be the case?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. In other words, it's not, we don't look at what she requested and either she gets it or she doesn't get it.
Right.
There's more to it.
There's
than that.
other options.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. So is there a motion to refer Yolanda Gibson's request for reclassification to our executive director for further evaluation?
I'll motion, sure.
Second.
Moved and seconded, I agree. So that is unanimously approved. And now we go on to the second conference item, which is the recommend approval of revised job description, senior communications officer. Let me just make one comment about it and then turn it over to Aaron. Aaron and I discussed this item when we went over the agenda, and it is my understanding, Aaron needs to correct me if I'm wrong, that this job description is and will be on the agenda for the Board of Education meeting that's coming up in a few hours. And typically, we sort of do things in a slightly different order, which is the Board of Education is responsible for determining the duties of each position. Once they determine those duties, we then look at the minimum qualifications, skills, and knowledge and placement on the salary schedule. That's our job, our duty as the Personnel Commission. This is a little bit different. There's kind of a necessity because there's an upcoming retirement. There's a necessity to try to fill this and post it. And therefore, I think we're suggesting not that we're approving precisely this job description, but that we are recommending its approval to the Board of Education. Once, basically subject to their adoption of it. And then I don't know that it would need to come back to us other than maybe as an informational item. But the process is a little bit unusual. But I think it'll work, it seems to me. Yes, Commissioner Goldstein.
I appreciate your summarizing the standard process. So, it could, I think, be a conditional referral, because I don't know. I mean, right now, as it sits, the duties don't change much. Basically, I think it removes this position from cabinet, and that's about it. Clarifies a few other things, but I would just make it conditional just in case, somebody
Yes.
does a major change. And a question I had reading this, apropos to the new law about the driver's license. Is driving around a requirement of this position or no, because I see it's in there. I don't know if it's just old legacy or if it's really
Right.
a requirement.
So it was at some point from what I understood. But what we did, there's a slight variation in the track changes version And unfortunately, that didn't get reflected in the final version that we're presenting, or the draft final version. But we did add some writing there in the track change version. If you look under licenses and other requirements, we did indicate that, well, we kept the valid driver's license and vehicle insurance, but we also put or ability to use an alternative mode of transportation to perform job duties. So we eventually will have to remove the driver's
I think
license.
we're gonna need to look
Yeah,
at that to
yeah.
get it compliant with the new law.
new law,
I think
right.
probably it just should not be there at all. I mean, you know, what
Right.
you could say possibly
Mhm.
is local or regional travel may be required from time to time,
Right,
which I think is how most places are kind of indicating that.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Get ahead of the new law.
Yes, Commissioner Albert.
Yeah, I had one comment about the section on physical demands.
Mhm.
And we discussed this a little bit before the meeting, but they've added a couple of physical requirements,
Mhm.
which I don't really understand why they would be required in this sort of a position, and I'd be interested to hear from the district about that. But I don't know.
Quickly tried to check in with Assistant Superintendent Samantha Tobias Espinosa, and she let me know that that was added there because the district wanted to establish some type of guidelines. And that it was also, it comes in helpful for the ADA accommodations. And that there is potential, this person will potentially have to move items around at some point during while they're performing their duties. They might be asked to move something that's a little bit heavier to the sites. Or,
So if I may, so as far as the ADA is concerned, if somebody, let's say about the lifting of 25 pounds, if someone has a medical or other medical condition that prevents them from doing so, and the district can reasonably accommodate that change or modification to the requirement, then we would do so. The
Yes.
district would do so.
yes, we do.
So it's not a hard and fast, you have to be able to. So then, the question becomes,
Right.
is there sort of a chilling effect? Does it, I can understand the district's desire to want to, to let people know that they may have to move, file boxes or, 25 pounds is not, for a lot of positions, requires 50 pounds.
Mhm.
So 25 is not a huge requirement. So I guess I, for one, don't have a big problem with this, understanding that the district would accommodate disabilities.
That's right.
Yeah, you kind of said what I was thinking, which is the
Mhm.
chilling effect of application. And, I don't think that it's necessarily a huge deal in this circumstance, but just as a general rule, adding physical requirements to kind of desk work doesn't seem like a great, even, sometimes you have to move a box, sure, but if one person can't move a box, the box can get moved.
Yeah.
Usually. I don't know. That was just something that stood out to me.
Yes,
May I?
Commissioner
Yeah.
Goldstein.
I think something that is true that you don't see on the job descriptions, and Erin, I'm looking at you to make sure this is right. When we post the positions, in the posting, we include language that says reasonable accommodations
That's it.
made for, persons with disabilities or what have you,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And we also ask that as a supplemental question in all of our applications to indicate whether they will be needing. So we do an extra step to have them let us know if they will be needing.
Right. So I
Condition.
think this is really just the diligence that sort of says, you may find yourself doing this from time to time.
Good to know.
Yeah, there are really sort of two sides to this. On the one hand, it could have a chilling effect, but on the other hand, we do want to notify applicants that this could be a part of the job, so that it's not a surprise to them.
Right.
Okay. On the driver's license, so I noticed that as well. So both a substantive question and a question of process. So I noticed, in the, I guess, track changes version, you've added or ability to use an alternative mode of transportation to perform job duties. So I would say that that strikes me as compliant
Mhm.
with the law. I'm not 100% sure it is, but it appears to be. And there has been no real clarification that I know of. So if you are going to be modifying for future postings, modifying job descriptions, this might be one where it'd be useful to ask our attorney or the district's attorney, what kind of language will be compliant with this new law? Because it is a brand new law. We don't know what's going to be compliant. Can I just say my other point? So as a matter of process, what do we do here? Is it what was marked as draft? Is that what's in the agenda for the school district?
No, so the,
Oh.
and I apologize for that oversight, but it's the track change version, I
Oh,
believe
okay.
is what they will be reviewing
Oh.
because we worked on this version with Human Resources
Okay,
before, but
okay.
yeah, I haven't double checked to see what went to the agenda, but it was my impression that this was what was going to go.
Okay, well, if that's
so-
the case, then that language.
And
is in there.
also, the licenses and other requirements, that's under our purview, so they don't necessarily approve this portion of the job description, so.
True, but what we would be approving is the additional clause or ability to use an alternative mode of transportation to perform job duties.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Commissioner
actually,
Wilson.
what I thought we were just talking about was saying that, a conditional approval, assuming based on the track changes, there are not substantive departures, from the edits that we already see here. And I like your idea, which is rather than approving the California driver's license language, just asking that we get a rendering from council about, what we think would be the most compliant way to represent that.
I think that's a great idea going forward. Well, that was my idea. I think
Yeah.
that was a great idea going forward.
Congratulations, good idea.
Pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
The only thing is we have a timing issue. I think that the district would like to have us post this job as soon as the Board of Education this afternoon approves it. So I think we have to do something
Ah,
that allows them to do that. Conditional, yes, conditioned on that they're approving the track changes version, number one, and that there aren't major modifications to it. Then I think we're saying, if the Board of Education approves it, it can be posted without coming back to us.
Right.
Right, but could we say, in other words, a quick call to council this afternoon, that says, is this language okay? Or could we proxy in something else? I think could still meet that timeline.
It'll
I
be
mean,
pretty-
I'm comfortable that, in as much as anybody understands what complies with the new law, if somebody else has a slightly better idea about how to word this.
But then and then it comes back to us again? and
Well,
then
it
goes-
comes back to Aaron. And what we've done is given our approval that says, based on what council suggests, go ahead and strip that in.
And then what do we tell the Board of Education?
That's what we're doing. That we are just asking outside counsel, to review this sentence and either give us a better sentence or tell us they think the sentence is okay. Why, you think that's gonna blow the board's mind?
I think they'll, to the extent it even goes to them for discussion. I don't know if, is it on as a consent item?
Yeah, but they're only approving duties. They're not approving.
Right,
minimum
this is ours.
qualifications.
This is us.
So-
No, I understand. The only thing is, we have to approve something. So let's see, so we would be approving whatever council tells us.
Right, because we think council is a knowledgeable and trusted source, to guide us on this.
And giving Aaron authority to
Right.
make any change that council recommends, if there is one,
Right,
and then it can be posted.
right.
I do have some good news to share because initially they wanted me to post this like last week. And so I do know that there's been an extension in regards to the separation date for the
Oh.
incumbent. So there will be more time to get this posted. I thought I
I
was.
didn't see her on the report for tonight's
Yeah,
meeting.
and that
Yeah.
just came across my desk
Yeah.
like a few days ago. So so we will have more time to get this sorted before I can post it.
Okay, so I'm reading between the lines then, Aaron, that you are comfortable with Commissioner Goldstein's suggestion as to how it gets handled.
Yeah, and that will be helpful also just for all of our other
Right,
Yeah.
job
I think
Right.
job
that's
descriptions.
okay, then good suggestion.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Albert.
This may have been stated earlier. When does the new law go into effect?
January 1, I think.
Mhm.
So theoretically, if we get it posted before January 1, we're still compliant.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Not that we don't want to plant anyway.
No,
Well, no, the worst part is to be compliant. If you post it prior and then the law changes, you're reposting.
yeah, then
To
you have to
correct it.
repost it, you said.
So, but we should just do it right the first time.
Yeah, that would be good. Okay, if there's no further discussion, I may look to you, Commissioner Goldstein, for a motion as to how to phrase.
I think I got it. All right, I think what we're doing is we are providing, I am motioning that we provide conditional approval of this job description based on no material changes by the board at their review later today. And based on your review with council for the need for any revised wording under the licenses section to make sure that it's compliant with the new law. SB 1100.
Got it.
And then I guess the implication, I don't know if we need to say it, but that then Aaron is authorized to make whatever modifications to that licensing requirement that council recommends.
Mhm.
I second.
And I agree.
Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you. All right. So those are our conference items. We now have item 9, which is the election of Personnel Commission Chairperson and Vice Chairperson for the 2025 calendar year. I will simply say that well, one is it's been my honor to be chair for this 2024 calendar year. But in addition, based on I think last month's meeting, I think Commissioner Goldstein has expressed an interest and willingness to take on the position of chairperson for 2025. And I, for one, would support Ms. Goldstein as chair. I do want to hear from Commissioner Halpert as to his thoughts on the matter, but those are my thoughts.
I certainly don't want to do it. So, yeah. That's fine with me.
Okay, all right. Well, then, let's see. Process-wise, could somebody nominate Commissioner Goldstein to be chairperson for the 2025 calendar year?
I think that gets to be you.
Sure, I would be happy to.
All right. Commissioner Goldstein has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed. Is there a motion to elect Commissioner Goldstein as chairperson of the Personnel Commission for the calendar year of 2025. I would make that motion.
And second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Do I vote for myself?
You do.
Oh, okay, yes.
I hope you do.
Okay. All right,
You'd still be forced to be chairperson because it would be 2-1.
exactly. Okay.
So it is unanimous and Commissioner Goldstein is elected chairperson for the 2025 calendar year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And now we need to elect our vice chairperson. Yes.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Alpert for that because I believe he is a quick study.
Well, thank you.
And will, in his other endeavors, have plenty of experience or at least augment his experience running meetings and find that this is not so daunting. So-
Sure. Well, I was gonna ask Izzy if he was interested, but if you would like to thrust it upon me, I would be not unwilling.
You are almost hereby thrusted. Let's see. So Commissioner Alpert has been nominated to be vice chairperson for the 2025 calendar year. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none. All those in favor of Commissioner Alpert being elected vice chairperson for the 2025 calendar year, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Congratulations. You will be the vice chairperson for the 2025 calendar year. All right, excellent. And now we are moving to our closed session for to discuss the recruitment for the executive director classified personnel. Let's see, how are we doing on time? We're doing very well on time. We have 2 hours for this, but it's slated to go 30 minutes. So we will now adjourn for a closed session.
To go?
All right. The commissioners are back from our closed session. And it's now 3:01. And our report from closed session is that the commission is very, very pleased and excited to have unanimously selected Aaron Aranez as our executive director, effective tomorrow. And Aaron has graciously accepted based upon a letter provided by Aaron Aranez, which will be included in this agenda packet. We have placed Aaron at step 2 of the salary schedule. And we're so excited and thrilled to have Aaron as our forthcoming executive director. Is there anything else that the commissioners think I left out?
Not a thing, not a thing. Aaron, I hope this is a happy thing for you. And when you have rough moments, remember this is a happy thing for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's see, back to our agenda. We've done the report from closed session. We now have another public comment period. Is there anyone either in the room, and I see Mr. Hernandez is stepping forward to the podium, or on Zoom. If the people on Zoom will hear from Mr. Hernandez first, and then if anyone who's on Zoom wants to raise their virtual hand, they will be called upon. Mr. Hernandez, please go ahead.
All right, thank you. I just want to say thanks, Roder, for the past year of being the chair. Thanks for your service. I want to say thanks to Heidi, for accepting next year's chair and the vice chair for Albert, and congratulations to Aaron. And that's it from BCCE. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Sarah, do you see anyone with their virtual hands up online? No, no one. I'll declare that the public comment session is closed. I may need some help here about what is the date of our next meeting? January 29th. Okay, thank you. January 29th, 2025 at 4:30 in this boardroom. And if there, the only additional item that I would say is just wishing everyone again a very, very happy holiday season and a restful and safe, happy holidays. Our meeting is adjourned.